Chris, you have separated out non-continuing operations and discontinued operations, and on that basis, earnings up 10% to 43.4. Perhaps take us through what's been discontinued at this stage.
At this stage, it's only one area. Afternoon, I think we looked at the trading division. Within the trading division, there was a specific product that was, unfortunately for us, a loss-making project. We have spent some time going through the assessment of that and decided to stop the continuing of that.
You've got three main divisions, so you've got Afgri Financial Services, Afgri Agri Services and Afgri Foods. Performances, let's start with Afgri Foods, because I think there's lots of focus on food and food inflation at this stage, so it is top of mind. How's that been doing?
It's actually, we had an acceptable 6 months. We actually think that the growth in that in the food area actually supported the overall performance of Afgri. Obviously for us it was a confirmation of our strategy in terms of growing and expanding the foods area. So as far as that is concerned, you know, it supported the strategy going forward, and it certainly will be something that we will continue to focus on.
Where would you like, that makes up about a third of revenue at this stage, doesn't it?
It's about 36% at this stage.
Where would you like to see that going, and will you be making more acquisitions to get it to that spot?
Yeah, we announced yesterday afternoon also the acquisition of a yellow maize milling business. We will still focus on expanding that business. We do hope to be able to achieve about the 55 to 65% contribution from the foods area, and it will remain a focus. Not that the other businesses are not important, it's really just a matter of saying that we need to expand that to take the cyclicality of the agricultural services out of the business.
So would this lead to smoother earnings going forward?
We hope, and I think this set of results actually confirming that, where a lot of the agricultural companies only focus on agriculture has bigger declines. We're comparing to us, being flat, and you see the benefit of financial services and foods area, pulling us up.
How about chickens? Because you also made an acquisition there, Roscoe Chickens. That only really takes effect from the 2011 year, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. We actually implemented that from the 1st of February, so it will be in our numbers for the last 5 months of this last half of the year.
Food inflation, which hasn't really come through badly in South Africa at this stage. We had the strong rand helping us last year. We also had bumper maize crops. How's that impacted you? Because the maize prices were depressed, farmers not planting as much as they did last year. How has that affected you, and how's it going to affect you going forward?
It does affect us primarily on the agricultural services side of the business. Obviously the farmer with the low commodity prices then reduce purchase and buying. As a result of that, a lot of the inputs were delayed or even cut. But we do see, we have seen an increase of the price over the last month. We do expect that to continue going forward as a result of international food levels. And that will obviously be very positive for us in the last 6 months of this year.
Positive for you, not positive for consumers though, is it?
Unfortunately not. I think the issue is, if you look at world food stocks, it's actually at quite a low level at the moment, and that's the impact that we're seeing worldwide.
So when we have seen reduced planting levels of maize in the current crop season, are we still going to have enough maize, and what have they substituted that for?
What we've seen end of last year is that some of the farmers actually reduced their maize plantings and they converted that to soybean planting. So we do expect that trend to continue. It all depends really on what the maize price is doing. If we do keep the levels, current levels, and even see a bit of an increase, we may see farmers actually converting back a little bit. The maize is an easier crop in the area where we operate to plant. So as far as the levels are concerned, we do expect farmers to continue, depending on the price, but to continue planting their full hectarage.
Afgri Financial Services, this is a division that you scaled back slightly during the crisis, said you tried to reduce the size of the book. Where is it at the moment, and are you lending to farmers again? Are people coming and borrowing money for tractors at this stage?
We continue to lend to farmers. What we've done is really just aligning it with the strategy in terms of the grain value chain. So we've seen a reduction in the book as per our strategy. We continue to reduce the book. It is at the level now where we're comfortable with the level of the debtors book. Certainly we do see more activities on the back of the increased commodity cycle or commodity price, and we expect that to continue going forward.
And finally, Afgri Agri Services, that's a mouthful. How's that looking?
The agri-services side, as I mentioned, was very much depressed as a result of the low commodity price. We had big crops last year, the year before, obviously high stock levels. As a result of that, in South Africa we had fairly low prices. The strong rand obviously didn't help the farmer. We didn't see the uptick that we saw internationally. Fortunately, the price increased about 350 rand for over the last month, and we do expect that part of the business to do well the second half.
You've mentioned the grain value chain a couple of times. How have the changes you've made at the group positioned you on that grain value chain, and what's the prospects for the second half of the financial year?
Yeah, I mean, it just focuses us going forward. You know, it's actually the company has got an 87-year history in grain, and there's something that everybody understands in the company. So it obviously focuses the mind. It also means that going forward we will focus in the value chain in terms of taking the business from the producer to the processor, and that's where the food expansion comes in, because we expanded processing capacity. That will obviously, we believe, help us going forward, because we're building a stronger base.